Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a proper episode of Two Legs. My name is Andy Nichols, and I'm one of the two co-hosts of Two Legs. And joining me, as always, is one of the co-founders, Tom Hunyadi. Hello, Tom.
Andy, my friend, we live in exciting times. I'm doing fantastic.
We certainly do. We're squeezing in time to even do proper episodes despite the news today. And we are recording this on the 9th of July, which by the time this is going out there, it's probably old news. But right now, in the moment, we're pretty excited because we finally got our little tour hints dropped. You know how Paul works, gives you hints for a day or two, and then you get hit with the announcement. So the tour is on. Got Back does continue. It's not a brand new tour. It is going to be the Got Back again, American style, which I would have liked a new one, a fresh one, but we'll take it.
A fresh one for freshen up, or
yeah.
These tours are silly sometimes. The names of these are silly sometimes.
That's why Bob has it perfect with the never-ending tour.
Yeah,
and you just keep going and going. It is exciting. Limited, probably a very limited run over 6 weeks. We're thinking between October and November. Yeah. With what we hear, the emphasis on cities that he did not hit in the spring of 2022. When he came, when the tour first started. That is what we've heard. We've heard Minneapolis. We've heard Minneapolis and Ohio. Yeah, for sure.
Detroit,
Detroit, and as of today, if you're on the Hoppin forums, Canada is in the offering now, which for you Mullican Tire fans is a good thing. And Tom being so close to the border, I know he'll probably get over there. See a show with his buddies Ethan and Liz.
That's so
that'll be great. And listen, we'll be there. We know we may not be at the same show together, but we're going to try. We're going to try like heck to make that happen. Hopefully, we'll see most of you along the way. Here we go, baby. It's like it's Christmas in July. It really is.
Christmas in July. Love it.
So we'll wait. Other than that, we've got the last round of SHMs coming out also in July. I believe they ship 25th. On the 25th, and that'll be the final word on them. And other than that,
did you go Amazon this time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Get them the day of.
I followed your advice with that and went Amazon because I didn't get them from Paul the last 2 rounds until about a week later. Despite some of our friends who order from Paul get them on release day, which I don't know why there's some do and some don't. Depending on how much you spend.
Depends on where they live. I mean, I think that or I think the base is in Kentucky, if I remember correctly. It ships out of Kentucky or Tennessee, one of the two. I mean, if you're in that general area, that's a possibility. You'll get them the day of or the next day.
Mm-hmm. Distribution centers and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So,
yep.
It's exciting times, and yes, we just have to wait. The anticipation is real, and we're blessed that he's going to be coming back around again, and I am sure we're going to be going to more than one show.
Yes. I need to catch up to you. I mean, I need you to go to as little as possible so I can go to as many as possible.
I just finished the last 6 months were shows 12, 13, and 14. So,
right.
I'm not going to go see. I'll probably go to see 2, maybe 3. We'll see.
Yeah.
But it'll be a lot of fun. And again, this is all old news because hopefully by now on Saturday, we know the dates and we know where we're going. Because that's where you got to figure out what's the map going to be. I can't tell you how many phone calls I've had with our family to figure out the potential flight. Even like looking at like maybe he goes here, then he goes here, and then he goes here. And how far is the drive and things like that. I mean, these are until we find out closer gigs. That's what we're going to do. I think he'll hit Detroit, though, buddy, for you. I do.
Yeah, well, Detroit definitely will be the number one spot. Indianapolis is really close for me if he goes there. Mm-hmm. Chicago would definitely be a possibility. I got friends in Vegas if he does play in Vegas, so that might be a possibility as well. And the whole Canada thing, just to get a chance to possibly hear Mullican Tire is an opportunity I don't want to pass up now that I'm so close.
You're close now. How long would it take you to drive to Canada?
Well, I can get into Canada within an hour. It's just let's say it's in Toronto. Maybe that's a 2 hour, 2 to 2.5, 3 hour drive, which is no big deal.
That's nothing, right? That's a piece of cake. Piece of cake.
Yep.
So we have a little fun. We have a little fun exercise today to kind of get you excited in tour mode.
Right.
We are going to do a little bit of a wordplay game, which Tom reminded me we did in 2021. But it's time for a freshen up. Take and look at it.
It's freshen up.
It's a freshen up two legs episode where we go through every main Paul Canon album, not live, not classical. We are including Electric Arguments, but that's it. Where we give you a Paul album title and we describe it in one word. We use one word to describe it, an adjective. Yes. And it's fun. And it's depending on where you sit with those albums now, you might feel differently. So, and that'll be the interesting exercise to look at. So It's fun. Did it take you a long time to do, Tom?
Well, I mean, once we decided we were going to do this, I got half of it done. But then it took me like another day or two to finish up. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it was easy. I liked it. I think it's a good exercise to do maybe every 3-4 years, as your opinions of these albums change over the years. Mm-hmm. So does the word.
It is. Curious, before we start, let's do an over-under on how many we probably match up on. What do you think we're going to match up on? You think we'll get close?
3.
Like maybe the word won't be the same, but like the meaning might be the same.
Exactly. I'm go 3.
3. I'll say 3.
Okay.
I'll go. No, if you go 3, I'll go 2. This way we change it up. It may be the same meaning, but maybe a different word. So
exactly.
Let's kick it off with you there, Thomas. What?
Okay.
One word would you use to describe the McCartney album?
Easy. Homespun.
Homespun. There you go.
Yep.
And listen, remember the shirt that was on his store for a while? What were the themes for the album? Home, family, and love.
Family, love. Yep.
I chose love.
Okay, perfect.
I chose love because love is exactly what he needed at that time, and that is
right.
And his home and his family provided him with the love that he needed to get him through. So that was a easy one. For Ram, I went with whimsical because I think Ram is such a whimsical album because it is so musically adventurous, and between songs like Uncle Albert and The Backseat of My Car and Dear Boy, it does have that kind of charm to it. So I said whimsical for Ram. What say you?
Okay. Well, I mean, the first thing that came to my mind, and I just, I can't help but think that for me, it's a masterpiece. This is what that album is. It's just, for me, it's just a masterpiece.
There you go. Wildlife. What do you got?
Well, again, I mean, I love this album, but I got to be honest. And for me, I put subpar.
Okay. Yeah. I went with unpolished for Wildlife.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I like that.
For Red Rose Speedway, I went with romantic.
Okay.
My Love, The Flower, a lot of lovey-dovey songs on there, When the Night, and things like that.
Yeah.
So.
I went, you're going to kick out of this, I don't know. I went lopsided. Just because I feel, the first side is so much stronger than the second side. So I went with lopsided.
Fair enough. Band on the Run, Professional. Professional. That is the album that is finally raised the bar, and that is from start to finish a professional sounding record and a confident record. And I think really that's a good way to describe that album.
Okay. The last sound effect you hear right before you get into the Band on the Run suite, it's kind of like an explosion, right? So I put explosive for me. This is very, very explosive album from start to finish. Yeah.
Venus and Mars. What do you got?
Venus and Mars. I put Takeoff because then we got the new band and we're soaring and they're really just taking off. Taking flight. If you will. So yeah.
I went with sci-fi for Venus and Mars because there's a lot of that sci-fi lyrical concept is in that album, the lyrics of that album. Mm-hmm. And as we now know from Legacy 2, as what Paul was reading at the time. So that's what I went with that. Speed of Sound, maybe an obvious one. I went with the word democratic. because it was a
and
Democratic album.
that's yeah, right, and that's where we have our first agreement there, or our first what you call it, first same word, Democratic.
Right.
Yes, agreed.
So yeah, you did the same exact word. Okay, there's one.
Yep.
Okay, London Town. What do you got?
um, I hate to say this, but this is how I feel. I feel like it's directionless. We go all over the place on this album, and which is good. I think that's great. I like a lot of different variety on the album, but I just feel like there was, when this album came out, I just felt like there's really no direction on this album.
All right, I went with the word folky because it does have a folk vibe to it on much of the album, not all the album. But it really does have that folk vibe to it with, I would say, 2/3 of the album. Back to the Egg. Trendy. I chose trendy.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of trendy contemporary sounds on there. Paul's trying to stay relevant. And his answer to the punk movement with tracks like Spin It On and kind of that aggressive rock that's in there. So I went with trendy. What say you?
And because it's trendy, I think that's why it's misunderstood. That's just how I feel. I mean, I don't think people were ready. I think the hardcore fans maybe weren't expecting the trendiness, as you say, and maybe people were put off by that. But either way, I think, especially when it first came out, I think it was very misunderstood. I mean, I love all the love it's getting now, which is great. And I love how we all want the archive collection of this album. I love that too. But back then, I still think it was misunderstood.
Fair enough. McCartney 2, your turn.
Independently, as we know, he wanted to blow off some steam. He was tired of the whole band thing, and he went off and made an album independently, all by himself.
Well, the band was still together though when he recorded it.
Yes, I know that, but none of them participated. Except for maybe Linda here a little bit.
Yeah. It's funny, though, their photos were taken, though, in the same photo session.
Yes, right. Yeah, and then he used that photo from that session for the cover. Yeah.
Right. So I just went with weird. It's a weird record.
Sometimes you don't have to overthink these, just say it's the first thing that comes out.
You don't.
Your mind. And then weird was a consideration for me. Absolutely.
And weird's okay.
Yeah.
Tug of War. I went with classy because that is just a classy record from start to finish. Songwriting, production. George Martin's back in the picture. Take It Away. Somebody Who Cares. Here Today. Real big, fantastic record and a classy record from start to finish. So that's what I used for Tug of War. What do you got?
I got excelled. I really think that this was, he did that in lyrics, production, the arrangements, like you said, George Martin. I think every aspect of this album really excelled in every shape or form.
Pipes of Peace. What do you got?
Leftovers. Because I think 3/4 of it is I know what was it, like 4 songs were recorded for the album, but the bulk of it is leftovers.
Yeah, I went with Slick, another Slick, because there is a lot of that. Again, when you think about some of the tracks on there, Say, and Man, and even Pipes of Peace. Those are songs that are very, again, the production qualities are very slick, I think, on a lot of that stuff. Broad Street, maybe a bit of an obvious one. Theatrical.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a good one. Myself, I just put Redo because the bulk of them are remakes of songs.
Right, but even in those remakes, they have theatrical qualities to them, right? They're over the top.
Because
they're
you're
over the
presenting
top.
It. Right. Yeah, you're presenting it for a film, which, in that sense, I like your pick a lot on that one.
Press to play. What do you got?
Mediocre. For me, it's I like a third of it. The other 2/3. maybe I can do without, but or maybe we'll bump it up to half. I mean, that I like, but the other half, I think it's just a mediocre album myself.
Fair enough. I went with experimental for press to play because there are a lot of that. There's a lot of that going on in there with good times coming in, feel the sun, and lots of different experiment. And Paul, you could apply that word to a lot of Paul, to every.
I was just going to say that you could put experimental on a lot of them. Yeah,
you could. But I chose this one because for the '80s it was a little bit of a departure from the previous two albums. So he really took a little bit of a left turn there and did things a little bit differently. So, Flowers in the Dirt, I describe as harmonious because it's confident Paul, happy Paul, right from the get-go with My Brave Face, with some dips in the record with some of the songs, as we know, but generally a harmonious, happy record with songs like this one and Figure of Eight on there, and Rough Ride, and We Got Married, and Put It There. So I think it's a harmonious record. What say you?
I got Rebound on this
Good word.
Because I'm not really a big believer in return to form or comeback or whatever, because you never win anywhere. It's just whether or not you feel the music, is like, likens what you like. So but this was, I think, in fact, more of a rebound because, he's back to kind of the sounds which I think the core audience want to hear from Paul.
Fair. Off the Ground. What say you?
Grounded. Doesn't go anywhere. It never takes off. It never gets off the ground for me. But yeah.
I went with Ecological because a lot of that album is filled up with a lot of that stuff. The environment and kind of looking after all that kind of that worldview look on things, what Paul was kind of doing there in the early 90s. Flaming Pie, I went with organic because it was a kind of look back at making records, kind of just letting it come together. The album was written over a course of many years. He pulled things together and let it naturally flow. He didn't need a record. He just kind of let it develop as it happened. Pull Jeff Lynne in, pull George Martin in, pull Steve Miller in when you need to, and put out a record. And I think that was done organically. So that's what I got.
Okay. I got Inspired. I think the Beatles anthology might have been the best thing that happened to him at that point in time, because I think it was because of that we had a great album.
Yes, sir. Driving Rain. What do you got?
Underwhelming. Pretty much. I mean, over the years, as we say, I mean, it's an album that is kind of just has gone to the wayside for us, and it just doesn't excite me as much as when I used to listen to it when it first came out. There's albums of his that still excite me. Tug of War still excites me to listen to. Chaos and Creation, I still get excited to listen to it. But Driving Rain is one that.
Although when we did re-listen to it last year, it was better than when we thought.
It was better, but you know what? I still haven't listened to it since we did that episode.
Fair enough. I have called Driving Rain transitional because it's a very transitional record for Paul.
Yeah.
His life, Heather, really trying to find himself, go back out on the road again. It's a transitional album in a lot of ways. Chaos. I chose Angry because Paul was pissed off during this period, as we know. A lot of down music on this record, we've talked about it on our show, on both our respective solo shows. It's a lot of people have likened it to Paul's version of Plastic Ono Band because of what he was going through. But definitely an angry album on there, but some really happy tunes too. So what do you got?
I got Challenged. As we know, working with Nigel was no easy task. I think that's one of the things that made this album better. As we know, he had challenges in his personal life at that point in time too. So I thought challenged was a good word for this one.
Okay, Memory Almost Full. What do you got?
Memory was I got flourishing. I mean, this is the point in time where I mean, I think he could do no wrong in his career. So I really felt that this album continued off the success of Chaos and Creation, and he was starting to be on a roll here. So he was flourishing at this point in time.
Agree with that, but I also think that it's an album that is very reflective, and that's the word I've chosen. Because there's songs like That Was Me, okay, where he's talking about himself in the cavern. Of course, the end of the end.
Yep.
So, yes, while there's some fantastic song, I mean, he is flourishing on that record for sure with, Dance Tonight and See Your Sunshine and Only Mama Knows. It is one that when I think about it, it does sound a little bit more reflective.
Cool.
Arguments, as in Electric, I have went with innovative because that record from start to finish is totally innovative from everything. I mean, the experimental stuff on there, and forget about what's in the pizza box. I mean, with the instrumental stuff, it's fantastic. What a fascinating listen to that was. Again, getting that at the fest. What do you got?
I got layers. There's just so much going on. Regular music over experimental, over lyrics, over there's just so much going on. It's like an orange, it's like peeling an orange or an onion even.
Yeah.
A lot of layers to the album.
New. What do you got?
Continuity. Again, I just feel like he's on a roll here. He's continued his success. And at this point in time, I think he can do no wrong.
Fair. It's also a very modern sounding record. That's the word I chose.
There's that too. Yep.
Definitely modern. Very, very re-listenable, very easy to go back to that record and listen to it over 10 years later now. Kind of the same thing a little bit with the next album, Egypt Station. I've chosen contemporary. It's a very contemporary sounding record. What do you got? Yeah,
I mean, for me, I was more or less thinking for the word is just my personal feelings on how his career was going at this point in time. And for me, I'm going thriving here because how much I do love this album. And then, as I said, I mean, I just think he was putting banger after banger after banger out. And that was just my feeling at the time.
Sure. McCartney 3. What do you got?
I went fundamentals because this album kind of like every time he does these do-it-yourself albums, it's almost in a way it's he's going back to basics in a way. So I feel he's going back to producing, going back to starting with the drum kit, starting then adding piano and all that stuff. So it's in a way it's his fundamentals.
Very much so, because it's all on him. It's all him doing it solo. Good word. One word that I've chosen to describe McCartney 3 would be enduring, because he's endured, right? Here he is now in 2020, 78 years old, pandemic, and he's going to endure and still do his own thing, his own way, track like Deep, Deep Feeling, right? All on his own, all these layers to describe another album that you talked about that are in a lot of that music. So it's an enduring record. And I think that that's a great word to describe McCartney 3. So this was a little fun experiment. Let us know. This will be a fun one to comment on too, because you can do it really, really quick. So tell us in the comments below, what one word would you describe every McCartney album as we've discussed here today? We did include Electric Arguments, but we're not doing live or other experimental or classical stuff. So just the main canon. And I see what else you match up with. What do you disagree with? Maybe you might call it something different. Let us know below. And after you comment, go ahead and wait for a pre-sale, because that's the next big thing. Now that we know the dates, now we're waiting for the pre-sale.
Right.
So
we'll be there.
Yep. Good little fun one today, partner. Thank you.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. Good job as always. And like Annie says, I mean, if you can't do every single album, just do a couple of them and then come back, think about it, and fill out the rest. I mean, listen, we weren't able to do this all in. Well, I mean, I don't know about you, Andy, but I mean, I didn't get it all in one day.
No.
Sometimes you takes a little bit to think about. I mean, because you just don't want to talk about the album too. You also got to put in what where he was in that point in time.
Correct.
So kind of like the McCartney legacy, you got to weave in his life with those albums, because I mean, you can't talk about one without the other.
No, you cannot. No, you cannot. So that'll do it here for us today, ladies and gentlemen. So enjoy your weekend. Let's keep an eye on things and bring on the fall, baby. Bring on the fall. Peace, everybody. Have a good one.